Salute, man. This is Boxing Nocturnal Thoughts. If you're new to the channel, man, subscribe to the channel. If you want to talk about some boxing, leave me a comment so I can holler back at you in the comment section below. Bow. Chris Cyborg, I just watched her do a little bit of works on the mitts, on the pads, getting ready for this little boxing match she got coming up. First, I got to say this. Every time I see Chris Cyborg, I think of Mickey Warwick, the actor. Rest in peace. And that's because of one of my subscribers and my real life friends, the white guy. He always said that Chris Cyborg looked like Mickey Warwick. If you ain't never seen none of his movies, if you only can watch one Mickey Warwick movie, I would say probably for me would be Bullet. Go watch Bullet with Tupac and Mickey Warwick. But anyways, Chris Cyborg, man, I remember when she was in her prime. And to me, she was in her prime before she even fought in the UFC. I always felt like we never seen her in her prime in the UFC. But I remember everybody wanted to see her fight Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? And that was like a fight that was being built up. But Chris was so damn big. She had to lose so much weight. I remember watching videos with her cutting her weight to the point of like death. Like she was in tears and completely dehydrated and just agonizing, painfully losing weight to where you can just tell that she would never be elite or the type of fighter you've seen her before she came to the UFC. And then we seen her fight and lose against Amanda Nunes, who is just one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen in the octagon, especially as a woman. She came in there and just beat everybody up in dramatic fashion. She's still beating people up. Amanda Nunes is just, man, you know, I can't really go into talking a lot of UFC jargon because I'm way out of date. Like, I'm old school. I date way back to the Matt Hughes era. I even date back to the when I first started watching UFC, Horace Gracie, you know what I'm saying? Kim Shamrock, I believe dude's name was. Shit, man. Chuck Liddell and all that shit. So anyways, man, Chris Cyborg, to me, is damn near of that generation when she was in her prime. Not necessarily Chuck Liddell, but kind of in that era, Rampage, you know, Rampage Jackson and all that. So when she came to the UFC, you know, she wasn't the same, but she was decent. She was holding her own, but she wasn't in her prime then, and that was some years ago. So to look at it now, where she's older and she's boxing for the first time, and I'm watching her on the mitts doing pad work. I love to see anybody hit the pads. That shit's therapeutic to listen to watch, to see. And I'm watching her pad work, and it's cool. She working with the father of David and Jose Benavidez. She got some pop on her punches. She got some snap on her punches. She got some power on her punches. But all of her punches look to be, I mean, she's a natural fighter. But at the same time, I can see, and as far as her boxing, you can just see the delay, the time it takes for her to think about throwing a punch versus the time she actually throws a punch. You can see the steps that she's taking to where she has to think or count or is pause or calculate, or it's just not natural. It's just not fluid. It's a little off rhythm. She got some power. I think she will always have power. Just the way she's built, God gifted, genetics, training, everything like that. She got power. But when it comes to boxing, and to see the way she is a boxer, the way I can see her slipping and moving and thinking about throwing a punch, throwing a three-piece combination and things like that, it was good to see, but it was bittersweet to see. You know what I'm saying? To say less. It's kind of good to see it, but at the same time, it's kind of bittersweet to see it. It's almost similar to watching Mickey Warwick at the height of his career and then see some of his later work where he wasn't in the best acting shape that you could possibly be in. And you start to stretch it. Even though the wrestler was another good. Oh, the wrestler was probably the best. That was probably his best movie that he ever did, in my opinion, was the wrestler. But anyways, Chris Cyborg, I wish her the best. It was good to see her training, like I said, but it's kind of bittersweet. I really don't want to see her boxing at this level at this point in time in her career, but that's just the way I think of it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Bow, 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 bow. I'm gone.